So we all grew up reading books. In primary school we had those levels that you had to read. In secondary school we had to study texts for English literature and language. But then somewhere along the line people tend to just stop reading and they don't pick up a book until maybe that rare occasion they're by the pool when they read this summer fiction book. Today I want to talk about why you should be reading more. So maybe you read every now and again but you want to find the reason why you should actually be doing it more often, or maybe you don't read at all, then this video is for you. So there are so many benefits to reading, and I'll link down below a couple of really useful links for you to check out afterwards, but today I'm talking about the things that have kind of helped me realise why I should be reading more, and hopefully they'll apply to you too. So first of all, the vocabulary. So for me personally, I've always loved writing, and so when it comes to writing fiction or non-fiction, I find it's really helpful to read beforehand and then write, because you're exposed to that vocabulary, words that you didn't know before. Especially when I'm reading a more complex book, I tend to highlight or write down words that I don't know the meaning of and then look them up afterwards, and all of a sudden my dictionary in my head has grown. So if maybe you're thinking, oh, what's another word for that? What's another word for that? If you're reading more, you'll find that you know those words at the tip of your tongue all the time. The next thing is, I feel like reading makes you smarter. I read some non-fiction titles a lot, as well as fiction titles. So non-fiction is where something's actually real. So one I read a couple of months ago was about the criminal justice system in the UK, and I learned so much from that I wouldn't have done had I just gone about my day. Maybe I would have watched a documentary but not found out that much. You know, the time that you spend reading that book for many hours at a time can really help you to be more intelligent. And kind of moving on to my next point is like the exposure to the real world. I feel like reading opens up this whole new world, because a lot of us are so used to just being in our bubble of friends and family and colleagues that we don't see what's happening outside of our bubbles. You know, you might watch TV, but someone like me that doesn't watch TV that much, what reading can do is open up a world to you that you didn't know existed before. You know, you might read a book about war and suddenly know so much about history. You might read that book that I mentioned about the criminal justice system and realise that you want to work in prisons. You end up just finding out so much more that you didn't know before. There's so many examples that I can think of. I'm not going to bore you with them now. There's so many books that I've read that I thought, I didn't know that before. I didn't know people live like that before. I didn't know that's possible to be like that. And that's just one of the benefits that reading can bring. Kind of linked together is the next point about distraction and reducing stress. If you're feeling really overwhelmed, maybe it's work, maybe it's family issues, what reading can do is completely take your mind off what's happening in your world and you enter a completely new world. Whether it's a fiction or non-fiction book, all of a sudden you're focusing on those words on the page rather than what's going through your head and what's happening in your life right now. And what that can do is completely reduce your stress, because you're not worrying about it so much. Whether it's a really small thing, having read your book, you might then finish the chapter and think, actually, you know, what I was worrying about didn't matter that much. So one of the things that I find is, if I'm feeling particularly stressed, if I just have a moment, calm down, pick up a book, afterwards I feel so much better and my stress has completely gone. And then finally, maybe the most important reason why you should be reading more is because you might like it, you know, the enjoyment from it. Not everyone that reads is a geek. You can read a book and absolutely love it. It might be something that's really silly, it might be a children's book, it might be a fantasy book, it might be a non-fiction book about one of your favourite celebrities. Whatever it is, you might really enjoy it. The same enjoyment that you get from reading things on social media, the same enjoyment you get from watching your favourite TV programme, you could get that fun from reading. So I really hope that after this video you pick up that book that's gathering dust on your bookshelf, or the one that you've seen online a bit. I hope you go away and order that online now so that you can start reading it tomorrow. I think that reading definitely needs to be encouraged more. There are so many fantastic books out there. Please support all the publishers around you, the bookshops around you, the authors around you, because it means so much to people like us that work in the industry. And as I said, the most important thing, you might enjoy it.